Good evening, everyone that's already on. We just started. We will wait a little longer so make sure we have all the participants. For those of you that just joined, we're waiting a little longer just to make sure all the participants have a chance to log in. Okay, everyone, good evening. I'm William Jacks, Chief of Compliance for the Air Pollution Control District. We also have in attendance Miney Luther, Deputy Director from the district. We are here today to provide an overview of the district's complaint program and discuss proposed recommendations to enhance this program. We appreciate and thank you all for taking the time to attend this meeting. Before we begin, please note that Spanish interpretation is available and our interpreter, Ms. Diana Orozco, will discuss the details. Thank you, Diana.
Thank you. Thank you. Buenas tardes a todos y bienvenidos. Para toda aquella persona que necesita interpretación en español, si usted está en su computadora portátil o de escritorio, ubique el icono con forma de globo en la parte inferior de su pantalla. Haga clic en interpretación de idioma y luego seleccione español. Si está en su teléfono, iPad o dispositivo similar, busque el menú de 3 puntos. En la esquina superior derecha de su pantalla, haga clic en interpretación de idioma y luego seleccione español o Spanish. Gracias.
Gracias, and thank you so much, Diana. To help with time, we ask that you please hold your comments and questions to the end of this presentation. Before I begin, I'd like to first take a poll from the audience. We will start with 2 questions, and later in the presentation, we will have some additional. For these questions, they'll pop up on your screen, and we will go through each one. So I'll wait for these to pop up. Great. So the first question is, are you familiar with APCD's air quality complaint program? Yes or no? And the second question, have you ever submitted an air quality complaint to the APCD? Yes or no? So please answer the questions and click submit. We'll just give a few more seconds and then we'll see the results. Okay, let's see the results. So it looks like 46% of you are familiar with the air quality complaint program, and 23% have submitted an air quality complaint to the APCD. So that's great that some of you are familiar, and we hope to familiarize the rest of you, and we hope that you take away more understanding by the end of this presentation. Thank you so much for answering those questions. Next slide, please. So for those of you who are not familiar with the San Diego County Air Pollution Control District, the district is the local air pollution control agency that regulates sources of air pollution within San Diego County. Our mission is to improve air quality to protect public health and the environment. The district's vision is clean air for all, as everyone has the right to clean air. The district administers several programs to achieve this vision, including the Air Quality Complaint Program, which is the focus of this meeting. Next slide, please. We would like to start by providing a brief overview of the Air Quality Complaint Program. Under this program, the district receives and investigates air quality complaints submitted by members of the public. Most complaints report odors, dust, smoke, or improper asbestos removal processes. The complaint program promotes opportunities to engage with community members and to determine compliance with district rules and regulations. On average, the district receives approximately 860 complaints annually. On average, field inspectors investigate complaints within 24 hours and take enforcement actions when a violation of air quality regulations is documented. Next slide, please. The district receives air quality complaints via mobile applications, phone, or email. Complaints can be submitted in any language. The APCD compliance team has multiple team members who are fluent in Spanish, but it also has contracts with interpretation services to address complaints in other languages as well. Next slide, please. California Assembly Bill 423 amended state law in 2019 to restructure and expand the district's governing board. It also established new requirements for the district to increase transparency and public engagement. Next slide, please. One of the requirements in Assembly Bill 423 is for the district to evaluate and propose recommendations to enhance its air quality complaint program, addressing the elements shown on this slide. The elements are: 1, posting of complaints and their resolution on the district's website, including the date and time of the complaint, the general nature of the complaint, and the closest intersection to the site of the complaint. 2, whistleblower and public complainant protections. 3, response to complaints within 48 hours or less. And finally, a 24-hour hotline. On December 17th, 2021, the district published a draft plan on its website that includes recommendations to address these requirements. Tonight, we would like to discuss proposed recommendations to enhance the complaint program and obtain your input. Next slide, please. Starting with the requirement related to posting complaint information on the website, the district is proposing to develop, publish, and maintain data sets on its website to make complaint information readily available to the public. Currently, complaint-related information is mostly provided via the district's public information request process. Publishing data sets with complaint information will promote transparency and public engagement. Next slide, please. Moving on to the second requirement related to whistleblower and public complainant protections. Currently, the identity of complainants remain anonymous during investigations. To the extent allowed by law, the district protects the identity of persons who file complaints if they do not want their identity disclosed. By law, there are special circumstances that will require the district to disclose the identity of complainants. For example, disclosure would be required in response to a subpoena or if otherwise ordered by court in the interest of justice. However, these are very special circumstances. The district is enhancing its systematic controls to ensure the identity of complaints is not inadvertently disclosed, which will provide assurances to members of the public that want to submit complaints without disclosing their identity. Next slide, please. As it relates to complaint response time, as shown on this slide, on average, the district has been responding to air quality complaints within 24 hours. This graph also shows that the district continues to work toward decreasing the complaint response time. The district is also implementing systematic controls and enhancing its reporting tools to closely monitor complaint response time with a goal to respond to all complaints within 24 hours. Next slide, please. Assembly Bill 423 also requires recommendations for a 24-hour complaint hotline. This slide shows the number of complaints received outside the normal business hours of Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. These numbers represent approximately 15% of the total air quality complaints submitted to the district. In 2009, the district and the Department of Environmental Health and Quality signed a memorandum of agreement which establishes that the Department of Environmental Health staff will respond to after-hour air quality complaints on behalf of the district. The Department of Environmental Health already maintains staff trained to handle and respond to a wide range of environmental health complaints. Next slide, please. While the MOU between the district and environmental health has been successful, in order to expand its services, the district will need its own after-hour complaint program to directly respond to complaints and verify compliance with all air quality regulations during these investigations. The district is proposing to have a duty officer for its after-hour complaint program. Under this approach, the district would have staff available 24/7 to receive and investigate complaints. The estimated annual cost associated with this duty officer approach is estimated to be approximately $200,000. The actual cost will depend on the number of after-hour complaints that we receive. Next slide, please. So we would like to recap all requirements and recommendations for your consideration. For posting complaint information on the website, the district is proposing to develop, publish, and maintain data sets on its website to make complaint information readily available to the public. This recommendation will promote transparency and public engagement. For whistleblower and public complainant protections, the district is proposing to enhance its systematic controls to ensure that the identity of complainants continue to be protected. This recommendation will provide additional assurances to members of the public that have concerns about disclosing their identities. For complaint response time, the district is proposing to implement systematic controls and enhancing its reporting tools to closely monitor complaint response time with a goal to respond to all complaints within 24 hours. This recommendation will enable district staff to identify any potential delays in responding to complaints and proactively address any deficiencies that might lead to delays in responding to air quality complaints. For the 24-hour hotline, the district is proposing to implement an after-hours complaint program to enhance the services provided to our communities by enabling district staff to verify compliance with all air quality requirements during after-hour investigations. Okay, so as promised, I'm going to give you two more poll questions. If we can pull those up, the last two. So for the first question here, would you visit APCD's website to obtain complaint-related information? Yes or no? And the second question, do you support the implementation of an after-hours complaint program? Yes or no? We're going to wait a little bit to make sure we get everybody's responses. Okay, let's see the results. All right. So would you visit the APC's website to obtain complaint-related information? 100%. That is fantastic. Number two, do you support the implementation of an after-hours complaint program? Yes, that's not bad at all, 85%. So we definitely appreciate the support and interest. Thank you for all answering these questions. Now begins the question and answer session. As mentioned at the beginning of the presentation, you may relay your comments via two options: the raise hand to speak, or you may use the chat function to type your question. So if anyone is interested to ask a question, we're all ears. Or all eyes, depending if you chat.
Okay, I'm going to allow you to speak. please unmute yourself and you could ask your question.
Okay, unmute. Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, well, our question is if we call in for after hours air quality complaint, it's usually regarding fires at the beach, which normally take place at night. And so if an inspector came out to check on that, they would have to come after hours, because if they came between 8 and 5 during a workday, they wouldn't find anything going on. This is an activity that entirely takes place in the evening, usually after dark. So how would that work?
So that's the intent of this program is, if the issue is ongoing and it's within our authority, we would dispatch the inspector to respond to it at that time. If it's after hours or during business hours, both.
They would come out after hours?
That's correct.
Okay. Thank you.
Mhm.
Okay, we've got a question typed in the chat. Okay, what is the situation with the burning of fireplaces and fire pits that pollute my air?
Okay. So related to fire pits, under the complaint program, the district conducts investigations to verify compliance with air quality requirements under its authority. So currently the district has limited authority regarding fire pits. We do take these complaints though, and we also work with city officials who have ordinances. We typically different cities throughout the county that have ordinances that address this.
Okay, we've got another question in the chat. Will the after hours investigator do surveillance also, or just respond to complaints?
So usually that's works together. If we get a complaint and it's about odors or dust, everything we mentioned before, the idea is to try to observe it while it's occurring. So that is a piece of the process of the investigation.
Okay, another question. My city does not do anything about a complaint of fireplace smoke or the outdoor burning of wood.
So I think it would come down to their jurisdiction and their authority under their rules and regulations, similar to the districts. So if it's within our rules and regulations to enforce, we would investigate. If it's not, or there are limitations, then there are limitations in what we can do.
And just good evening, everyone. And once again, I'm Mayani Luther, one of the deputy directors for the district. And once again, I would like to thank all of you for attending this meeting this evening. Just to add to what William said, you're welcome to contact our team with more specifics with regards to your situation, because we recognize that there are localized impacts from these fires, and we can perhaps assist connecting with your city, and we'll try our best to address the situation within the authority that we have.
Yes, that's a very good point. A big part of what we do is if we don't directly have rules and regulations that enforce a certain issue, we look to identify other departments or agencies that do, and refer complaints quite frequently. If there's a partial involvement of a department, or if it's completely within their jurisdiction or authority, we pass it to them to try to get the answers and get the complaint addressed as they come in.
Okay, we've got a question, a hand raised from Brad. Please unmute yourself and you could ask your question.
Sure, thank you. I just want to address the wood smoke issue again. Are you recommending that we contact our local cities? So if I live in Vista or Del Mar, that the city should do something versus the county? And then secondly, why aren't we doing wood burning bans like all the other major counties between Riverside, Orange County? I think they've had like 35 this year in the South Coast Air Control District. We don't have a program, and the AQI sometimes, and I've been looking, is over 200. and your sensors are in Oceanside. For North County, they're in Oceanside and Escondido. So if you're in Encinitas or Solana Beach, they don't catch anything. So these localized issues, I mean, when you're seeing AQIs over 150 on a 60-degree night, it's kind of a joke. So I don't know what you guys can do, but it's out of control at the moment. Thank you.
You know, I think the key word there is localized, and you definitely appreciate and understand what you're experiencing. In regards to our enforcement, it's directly related to rulemaking and rule development. What's the rules and regulations state? So the rulemaking process is based on science to address region-wide elevated levels of air pollution. So other districts in the state have different region-wide levels or issues of pollution. Some have more wood burning issues, more burning issues than San Diego. So rules may differ from air district to air district based on this. And to answer the first question, yes, like I said, many cities do have ordinances related to these type of situations. So I would check with them as well to ensure that they're involved. And we do as well. When complaints come in, we typically refer these, as mentioned before.
Okay, we've got a comment in the chat. The zip code of 92083 needs assistance with sending out some kind of notification to all households in the zip code in multiple languages with health information on the dangers of breathing this bad smoke. 92083 is the city of Vista, as this other viewer is mentioning at the moment. It is out of our control, yes, in 92083 on any day of the year, hot or cold temperatures.
Okay, thank you for that comment.
Okay, we have another speaker. Please unmute yourself and you could ask your question.
Yeah, hello, yeah. I'd like to ask you, it's a two-part question, sort of. Do you enforce the federal regulations for air quality standards? And the second part is, we have been told by our San Diego City Council member that the county, has more authority than the city of San Diego. So I'm not quite clear on like the hierarchy of enforcement, I guess. If the city has a regulation on air quality, or I assume you're operating under federal guidelines. Could you please clarify that?
So it depends on what regulation you're referring to. So there are some federal, state regulations we do enforce. And then of course our own rules specific to the rulemaking, I said before, we do enforce. If this is what the city is saying, then that is what they're saying. But again, I go back to, we have our authority and our ability to take actions based on what our rules and regulations state.
So where can you find out what they're? So yeah, just to follow on, where can one find out what the rules and regulations are that you are enforcing?
Absolutely. So on our website, www.sd, we can put that at the end. We'll put that at the end, yeah.
No, let's put a link on the chat for our rules. So we do enforce federal, state, and local rules that are designed to, minimize the impact from air pollution. And so, I think as it relates to, the comment that was provided before with regards to whether we have more authority or less authority in the city, I guess if we're still talking about, beach fires and, other fire pits, it really depends. As far as open burning, we do have limited authority. But, and I think there is a difference. Somebody else mentioned that in South Coast, there are more stringent requirements, but they have different region-wide challenges as it relates to air pollution, and that therefore our rules are different. But, again, we do recognize that there are localized impacts from these sources. And I think the best approach would be to contact us so that we can better understand what the circumstances are, and hopefully, talk to other jurisdictions to see what can be done, because we do, as William said before, we do a lot of coordination with other jurisdictions, to address concerns from the public. But if anybody can put the link on the chat for our rules, that would be great.
Yes, I will do that. Apologize, I think I just limited. Okay, that's our link to our rule development rule page.
Thank you, Angie.
Okay, there's another comment in the chat. Residents living near Highway 5 breathe polluted air in the night. Are there any plans to reduce the harm to these residues?
So I think that's the purpose of our after hours program. If those type situations are occurring in the evening, then you can contact us via our mobile app or phone or email, and so we can further investigate.
The district also has a mobile source program that is designed to enforce regulations specifically related to diesel vehicles. And so we do conduct a lot of inspections, to prevent, excess smoke from these vehicles idling and other things. And so, if you could report complaints related to mobile sources as well. And by mobile sources, I mean truck, buses.
Okay, there's another comment in the chat. Education is needed. Please send a flyer to all addresses on the health effects of wood smoke, especially in the time of this pandemic. People are negatively affected by breathing the bad air from outdoor burning.
Okay, noted. Thank you for that comment.
So if it's okay, I would like to ask a question. I don't know if anybody would like to provide, thoughts about, from the questions that we asked earlier. Some of you were not supportive of the after hours program, and I don't know if anybody would like to elaborate on that. And the reason we are asking this is because your thoughts are really important to us. So we would like to know, what your expectations are as it relates to this program. So I don't know if anybody wants to share anything about that.
And if you don't want to share now, remember, you can definitely, we'll have one more slide and we'll show our contact information where you can provide your comments.
Okay, I'm going to read one of the last chat messages. It says, "Thank you. I will look forward to seeing what is done in this regard."
Okay, thank you for that comment.
William, do we want to go to the next slide? And
yes, I was going to ask, just double check if there are any more messages in the chat or hands raised.
There's no more messages and I see no hands raised.
Okay, next slide, please, then. Okay, so in terms of next steps, we will consider all comments provided today. Additional comments can also be provided to the district via email using the email address on this slide. Please provide these comments by February 4th, and we will make necessary revisions to the proposed after-hours complaint plan that was published last December and is available on the district's website. We will present the proposed plan to the board during a public hearing. Did I see an additional comment?
You did, William. It says, "As a result of the 30th Street bike lanes, we lost our loading zone. Large diesel trucks idle in our alleyway, filling our condo units with fumes. How do we deal with this?"
So as Miney previously said, we do regulate mobile sources and specifically idling as well. So you know, that's an avenue we can pursue. If when you're identifying this, or if you know the time when they frequently idle, give us a call, email, or send us something through the app so we can respond.
But we
Investigate.
will definitely take this, you know, we'll discuss this with the team since you already provide the location. You know, we already actually identify some hotspots within certain communities where idling is likely to occur. And actually, we are now in the process of installing signs to increase outreach to prevent idling. We know idling can be a huge impact in certain communities. And so we'll take this comment and we'll share with our mobile source team, you know, so that they can do some surveillance in this area. We appreciate the information.
Absolutely. So if there is nothing else, you know, please don't hesitate. If you think of something later or you want to wait to respond, please email us so we can make sure to consider everybody's comments. We want to hear from you. We want to hear all your comments to see how we can improve this program. So as I mentioned, it's on our slide, as you can see, and also our website. You can reach out to us that way as well. Again, thank you all for coming, and really appreciate your input and discussing the future.
Have a great evening, everyone.
Thank you,
Thank you.
everyone.